Hello everyone, this is Nancy Murdoch. Sorry I can't be with you on the very first day, but I wanted to spend a little time kind of going over the course for 409 and hopefully answer some questions as we go. Wanted to kind of go over Blackboard, and this is what you're going to see obviously for your screen, and so we have a welcome. Wanted to let you know there is a class cafe section so that if you wanted to ask questions, I will periodically check them about every 24 to 48 hours, and you're also welcome to email me if you have any questions about this semester. I do typically have little notes up here, like there is a Emergency Nurses Association Eastern Carolina chapter. They're having a meeting and have invited any students that want to join, and that date is on January 22nd, Tuesday. At Pender Memorial from 1800 to 2000. So they'll be talking about strokes, which is a great topic for you all since so many of you are going to be on the 7th floor working with stroke patients and others in the ICU. So take advantage of that, please. We have had students who have come back to me and said, you know what, by attending some of those, I networked and was able to be able to get a position at New Hanover or Cape Fear Orthopedics or up at ED North. So parking, you know about your parking, where you're supposed to be parking. It's supposed to be on Physicians Drive when you do have your capstone and when you have your 403 clinical. I wanted to take a moment and kind of go over the syllabus. Let's get that guide to open up. So our syllabus, it's a 4-credit class, clinical, but only a 1-credit class. So you're going to have some class that will be online and some that will be in person. So as we go over the schedule, I'm going to kind of show you how that goes. For it, there are several faculty. I am the coordinator, and I will have some of you guys, 20 of you all, as my students for the capstone as you're out with your capstone preceptor. Other faculty that are involved with this course are Heidi Winslow, Carol Highsmith, and Amanda Jeffries. I do have office hours and for 403 and 409 and for all my advisees on Mondays, typically from 9 to 12. Going down, it will talk a little bit about how to write objectives and the Board of Nursing and what your expectations are. So take a few minutes to kind of peruse that. You will have some learning modules that you will be going through, but you will not need them yet. And when we go over the schedule, I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. But you're going to have different topics each week. This won't happen until you are actually out in your clinical during the last part of the semester. The grading scale is the same as it's always been, so no surprises, no changes. We do the typical rounding, and you know what you need to obtain to be able to pass this course. This is usually one of those courses you go, yay, it's a very good course to be able to boost your GPA, because as long as you do the things that you need to do, you should be very successful in this course. The problems are when you do not submit assignments and when you do not let us know that you cannot or are not able to submit assignments. You will have to write your own objectives this semester, and that won't happen until the last part of the semester. You will have 4 discussion boards and a reflective journal. You will be given points for your ATI, and you have a total of 100 points. So for our ATI, you will be required to take ATI. You need a 95% or above to be able to get 5 points. And 90% is 4 points. If you do not have a 90%, so like an 89 and below, you are required to complete 3 hours of remediation and then retake it. If you do obtain a 90 or above, you will get 1 additional point, so you can get up to 4 points. If you had an 84 or below, you only get 2 points to begin with. You still remediate, but instead of 3 hours, it's for 4 hours. And you will receive 1 extra point if you do have a level of 90% or above. So that's an opportunity to add points to your, your final grades. So that's always kind of nice. I do want to ask you to please be to take ATI seriously. It does help provide us with some information about how well you can do on your boards. Typically, people who have not done well on boards are also do not do well on ATI. So, doesn't mean the other way around that if you don't do well on ATI, you won't pass boards, but the other way around is true. Okay, course expectations, I think those are very, very, normal, things that we tell you in every single one of our clinical groups, that there's a late policy, you get a, things need to be turned in, you get, 7 days of the due date, you will be subjected to 5% reduction in the grade. So just to let you know that those are there. So we're going to go over on the schedule a little bit more, detail about that. So it talks a little bit about all of that. Okay. You should be getting feedback. The medication administration and IV therapy exam, you're going to have your Med-Calc exam, and then after that, you're considered safe. When you are doing your clinicals, you must always have direct supervision of the either clinical instructor who happens to be there or your preceptor. So, dress code. I always get calls. I think almost every semester I get a call, and I think there's something that happens in that last senior year. First semester, you're so worried about making sure you're, looking spiffy. And so please just remember, if you're not supposed to have on specific rings or nail polish or your hair down, please try to, it's usually the other nurses that contact us, and it's not usually the faculty that notice that. So try to be professional. Try to make sure that your attendance is there. And if you are going to be not there or tardy for your capstone experience, you need to let your faculty know immediately and your clinical person know immediately, your preceptor. We have academic integrity, which means that you are supposed to be on the honor code. So just to let you know that violations are considered serious. So there is the Learning Center, the Writing Center. You've got Blackboard that you can refer to if you need any help. I wanted to go over the schedule and let it open up. We have a full schedule ahead this semester, and I'm really excited because we're going to start pretty quickly. So this week, obviously, I am at intensives in ECU, so I will not be with you for class this week. But so no face-to-face class. This is your requirement. You're going to review this video and check off that you have reviewed the syllabus and the schedule and that you have no questions. Applications on Class 2. I have one of the local recruiters, coming to talk to you about the local New Hanover applications that are due. Their priority deadline, I think, is the 31st or the 1st of February. So they're going to talk a little bit about applications and how to go for interviews. Motivational interviewing on Class 3. I've got two managers that are going to come in and talk to you generally about what kind of things to expect. And I know you've had a little of this already, but what kind of things to expect when you go for an interview? What impresses them about somebody? What makes them want to hire somebody or not hire somebody? It's a really nice hour, and I strongly suggest that you attend. On Class 4, we have a panel of experts coming. We've got people coming out from New Hanover all the way up to Duke area. So I've got a couple people coming from other hospitals. And the goal for that is so that they can speak to you about the whole process and just be there to answer questions like, everything from the NCLEX registration to how well the transition is with their new jobs, and also about I picked a few people who will talk to you a little bit about the whole practicum experience of Capstone. Got a couple days of ATI, so on February 13th you will have ATI, and this is for Capstone from 1 to 5, and it will be in the computer room. I did reserve for Class 5 the ATI for Spring 403, so you will not have Capstone that day, just adult health. The next day is NCLEX registration. So on 2/27, we'll talk about how to register for NCLEX, and I will go over that in PowerPoints and how to go about doing that and when you should do it, and any suggestions that I've had from the past, so that you can get ready to take your NCLEX. Yay! Class number 7. This is the class that we will hope that we will have everything we can. You will meet with your capstone instructor. It'll be a formal class. We will review the capstone materials and discuss about objectives. And then for class 8, I'll just be available. So hopefully, if everything goes well, the majority of you will have your capstone assignments by March 6th. That gives you the time before you go on spring break to start thinking about your schedules. And then afterwards, when you come back, if you're having any difficulties and you need to meet with me individually or you need to meet with your faculty, you can. So I've reserved that time for you. So just to let you know, it is sometimes hard to find your capstone preceptors. So you want a little bit of time. I want to remind you, I know many of you work and you're thinking, well, I will not be able to do clinical on these days. You will be following your capstone preceptor, and I can't change their schedule. We have to go with whoever you get assigned to. So try whatever you can do to be very, very flexible. It's only for about 5.5, 6 weeks, so please be as flexible as possible so that you can complete this semester. We've had people have extreme difficulties in the past because they work so many hours. So it's always easier to add hours than take them away from a job, because they're always happy to say, yes, you can add some hours, we need help, than to have to ask off your boss for multiple hours. Then we're going to get to the modules. Once we get to March 31st, we'll be dealing with everything online. And you'll have discussion boards, discussion board 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then a final reflective paper. And it will be due on 4/28. So this is the golden day that you are done. Capstone should be completed by May 1st. Final evaluations will be between you and your instructor as they collect your materials and discuss your final evaluation with you. For discussion boards, you'll have an initial posting, and it needs to be due by 2300 on the Wednesday of each week. Then you are to respond to 2 other people in your groups by 2300, 2330 Friday. So you have a final reflection, and it's due that at the end of the day on the 28th. So that's kind of your schedule. You have some documents that you can look through. Like there is an NCLEX getting ready for boards. We're going to go over that PowerPoint in detail on that NCLEX day. You will get some group discussion boards. I haven't actually outlined them yet, so I will be putting you guys into your discussion groups, and you'll know exactly which group you're in. We'll talk about writing objectives as we go through the program, but when it comes time in your area, you will be writing your own objectives and sharing that with your preceptor and with your faculty, with approval from your faculty. There is a client care experience packet. We're going to go over that in more detail as it gets closer, but that is actually something that you are going to need to refer to. It talks about how to write objectives, what your expectations are for this whole experience when you go out into your practicum, what the experience or the expectations are for the facility hosting you, for the preceptor, and what your faculty are required to do per the state of North Carolina Board of Nursing. And there's also a little guide if somebody has not ever been a preceptor before that you may want to share with them. I'm not going to go into the learning modules or the discussion boards or any of that right now, because I think that that's not something until the later part of the semester. But for this week, please make sure that you go over the syllabus and you go over the schedule, and that you click that you have completed that, and so that will be completed. If you have any questions, please let me know. I am up at East Carolina this week. I will be with the group that is with Miss Lindsay Green on Friday to see you guys for your first clinical. So I will see some of you this week, this first week of school.